Hi, welcome back to Worm's Eye View. If you've just watched the Poundland, Wilco's and the Works haul that I've just done, you'll have noticed me spilling my tea. And I've done it now, so I'm just going to leave it and we'll just ignore the fact that there is tea all over my side. But I am going to do a book haul. So while we were in, we stayed in Seaton down at the coast this last week, first week of the Easter holidays, and I'm a sucker for charity shops, and so in Seaton they had a few charity shops. In Lyme Regis they had some charity shops, and I think, did I get all of these in Seaton? I think I got all of these in Seaton actually, so I wasn't going to buy any books at all. But that didn't work out. Went in the charity shop. I just shouldn't go in the charity shop and then I won't buy them. But I ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 new books. So I will start with this one. Now they had this version, this hardback version, and they had the paperback version of exactly the same book. Both of them were £1, but I really loved the cover on this one. I'd like to tell you what charity shop it was from, but I can't. It wasn't one of the usual ones. It was more, I think, a local charity shop. So I think it was something sort of local to Seaton, sort of a hospice care or something local to them. But yes, this is called The Girl on the Train, and it's by Paula Hawkins. I think I have heard people talk about this one before. I think. Anyway, that's what made me pick it up, was because I thought that I recognised the title. And it says here, let's just read a little bit here. Every day the same. Rachel catches the same commuter train every morning. She knows it will wait at the same signal each time, overlooking a row of back gardens. She's even started to feel like she knows the people who live in one of the houses, Jess and Jason. Oh, Jess and Jason, she calls them. Their life, as she sees it, is perfect. If only Rachel could be that happy. Until today. And then she sees something shocking. It's only a minute until the train moves on, but it's enough. Now everything's changed. Now Rachel has a chance to become part of the lives that she's only watched from afar. Now they'll see she's much more than just the girl on the train. So I guess she sees something while she's travelling. And yeah, sparks an interest, or some sort of mystery. I'm kind of thinking there's a body in the garden or something, like been buried in the garden or something. I don't know. But obviously these people forget that the train's going past and something happens. It's not as private as they think, and she is witness to it. And look, it's got a little bookmark attached to it. That's kind of cute. So yes, so I picked that one up. I look forward to reading that one. Sounds good. Now, this is the next one I picked up, Labyrinth, by Kate Moss. It's quite a thick book. It's going to take me quite a while to get through, I reckon. But it sounds really good. And actually, I put a picture up on Instagram, and my mum messaged me and said that she had read this book and the sequel as well. So she really recommends it, and I think she said she'd got the sequel at home. I'm not sure, but if not, and I enjoy it, then I'll definitely be getting the second one. So it says, July 1209. In Carcassonne, a 17-year-old girl is given a mysterious book by her father, which he claims contains the secret of the True Grail. Although Elias cannot understand the strange words and symbols hidden within, she knows that her destiny lies in keeping the secret of the labyrinth safe. July 2005, Alice Tanner discovers 2 skeletons in a forgotten cave in the French Pyrenees. Puzzled by the labyrinth symbol carved into the rock, she realises that she has disturbed something that was meant to remain hidden. Somehow a link to a horrific past, her past, has been revealed. Compelling, intriguing and passionate, an action-packed adventure of modern conspiracy and medieval passion. A grail gripper and elegantly written time-slip novel set in France. So yeah, that one intrigued me. It sounds nice. I like the whole sort of mysterious symbols, and I don't know. I mean, I have more of a sort of pagan belief system. And maybe this speaks to that, you know, the mysterious symbols and carvings and that kind of thing. So maybe that's why I'm drawn to it. So yeah, I'm going to give that one a go. This one was also £1. This one is called Stormswept, the Indigo Chronicles. So this is part of a series of books, but this is a standalone. So I have made the mistake in the past of buying books and then realising I haven't got the first one, and then I end up having to look for the first one before I can read the others. But this one does actually say a standalone novel from Dunmore's Indigo series, and the best yet. So I thought it was probably safe to get this one. So it says, dive into the depths of Indigo. Morveran lives with her parents and twin sister Jenna on an island off the coast of Cornwall, circled by the sea except at low tide. One day, Morveran finds a beguiling teenage boy half buried in sand after a storm. Going to his rescue, she is shocked to find that he is not human. So that's all I know about the book. But I don't think it'll take me very long to read. It's quite, I mean, I could probably read that in a couple of nights. So yeah, quite a quick read, I think that'll be. And not too hard going by the sounds of it, quite chilled. I mean, it might even be a young reader, I'm not sure. Not a young reader, but like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a teenage, young adult read. And I don't mind reading young adult books. Like I said, they're kind of a bit more light-hearted, not so deep, and you can read them quite quickly. Yeah, it does say children's books. So, yeah, and then I could pass that on to, you know, any of the sort of teenage girls I know, or sort of 10, 11, 12-year-olds that I know that are into reading. Okay, so the next one I got is Beautiful Broken Things, and that is by Sarah Bernard. It says, I was brave, I was reckless, we were trouble. So Katie and Rosie have always been inseparable, but that was before Suzanne. Now Katie wants to be more than just the quiet one. She wants something to happen. I was brave. Suzanne is trying to escape her past and be someone different, someone free. She was reckless. But sometimes downward spirals have a momentum of their own. We were trouble. And no one can break your heart like a best friend. A beautiful tale of the power and complexities of female friendship. So yeah, that sounded like a really lovely book. And inside here, there were several comments made by different people. So one of them said, it made me want to go and rugby tackle my best friend and give them a giant hug. It's a beautiful tale of the power and complexities of female friendship. Here it says, starkly realistic and ultimately uplifting. Beautiful Broken Things is a compelling tale of pain and redemption, growing up and growing together and finding empowerment and strength in friendship. So yeah, there's quite a few authors that have kind of written little snippets about what they thought of the book, and it does sound like a book that any woman could probably relate to, you know, with her female friendships. So I'm going to read that one. Now this one's kind of a little bit more, it's a bit different from the sort of things that I would normally read, and I like to stretch it a little bit sometimes and try something different. So this is called, again, this was £1. This is called The Flame Alphabet by Ben Marcus. Funny and scary and all out astounding. You'll never see words in quite the same way again. And that was Financial Times said that. God, I've made such a mess of that table. So it says here, a mysterious epidemic has struck and the speech of children has become toxic. As the neighbourhood crumbles around them, Sam and his wife Claire are forced to make a terrible decision. Do they abandon their teenage daughter and flee to the quarantine centre, or do they stay with her and waste away from her malevolent speech? Does say it's an unforgettable experience, it's quite simply one of the most powerful works of fiction that has ever been my privilege to read. So various people have kind of made comments. wickedly funny, brilliant and eccentric horror story. So yeah, I have no idea how that one's going to pan out, but it sounded like a really interesting plot to the book. And yeah, you know, how are these parents... What was that hitting my roof? I think the birds are throwing things off my roof onto the conservatory. Anyway, so yeah, I thought this was going to be really... I mean, you know, if you were a parent and your child's words were toxic, sometimes our kids' words are toxic and they hurt. And I'm sure our words can be toxic to them too. And it reminded me a bit of where it's saying this... children's speech has become toxic. It reminded me a little bit about the hoo-ha when, you know, text talk and text writing started to cause a stir around the country. You know, everyone, you know, the English language has been ruined because everyone's using text talk. So yeah, I thought if you were a parent and your child, you know, just their words, you know, hurt you and damaged you just from speaking, you know, could you leave them, I guess, you know, could you go off and be somewhere safe and leave the children, or, you know, would you just stay and ultimately, I guess, suffer whatever the fate is of what these words do to you? I don't know. Sounds really good. So I'm looking forward to that one. That might be one of the first that I read. This one I picked up because I really like the book cover. And look at that. That's lovely. And this is by Scarlett Thomas, and it's The End of Mr Wai. When Ariel Manto discovers a copy of The End of Mr Wai in a second-hand bookshop, she can't believe her eyes. Now, bearing in mind, I was stood in a second-hand bookshop reading this. It was like, ooh. She knows enough about its author, the eccentric Victorian scientist Thomas Loomis, to know that copies are exceedingly rare and some say cursed. With Mr Wai under her arm, Ariel finds herself swept into a thrilling adventure of love, sex, death and time travel. Yeah, I think, look at that very dark edge to the book. Yeah, I thought it was really intriguing. Utter enchantment, wonderful. I hope it is. I mean, I think it's going to be a real kind of fantasy setup, and I have no idea really what it's about. I guess she just gets drawn into this world of adventure. I don't know if she just gets sucked into the book or do things change around her. I've got no idea. But yeah, really looking forward to that one as well. Now this, again, I think this is one that I've heard people talk about, and I think there are others. So this one is Shiver, and I think there are others. I think there might be a series, or I'm not sure. Again, this is more of a young adult's read. It's a scholastic book, so Scholastic tend to do children's books. So it should be a nice easy read, light-hearted, nothing too much to digest. So it says, the pack circled around me, tongues and teeth and growls. When a local boy is killed by wolves, Grace's small town becomes a place of fear and suspicion. But Grace can't help being fascinated by the pack, and by one yellow-eyed wolf in particular. There's something about him, something almost human. Then she meets a yellow-eyed boy whose familiarity takes her breath away. A chilling love story that will have you hooked from the very first page. So yeah, I think that's going to be a nice, light, easy read that's not going to take very long. But yeah, give it a go. Again, all those were £1. I don't think I bought anything for more than £1. And this one is by, I'll take the label off, I can see, Edna O'Brien, The Little Red Chairs. Little Red Chairs. When a man who calls himself a faith healer arrives in a small West Coast Irish village, the community is soon under the spell of this charismatic stranger from the Balkans. One woman in particular, Fidelma McBride, becomes enthralled in a fatal attraction that leads to unimaginable consequences. So I guess it's a bit of a love story, but with a twist. The kind of masterpiece that reminds you why you read books in the first place. A rich, searching and enthralling book, one of the most interesting and ambitious ever written by an Irish author. Magnificent and a timely and defiant book. So, I thought I'd give that a try as well. So that was all of them. So for £8, I managed to get myself 8 good books. Well, I hope they're good. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to giving them a go. If you've read any of those and you want to comment, that would be great. Stick me a little comment below. If you're interested in what I'm reading or want to hear what I think of the book, so when I've read them, I do little reviews on them. So if you want to watch any of those kind of videos, then subscribe, because I have a playlist with my my book reviews and reading current reads videos on. So yeah, just if you fancy seeing more, just like and subscribe, and fancy sticking a comment, that would be great too. I'm going to go and clear up the mess that I made with my tea. And do you like my little woodland background? This was Minx Laura 123's fantastic idea. So she's been getting shower curtains off of eBay and using the shower curtains as a backdrop for her different YouTube videos. And we are currently sat in my playroom, because I'm a childminder, so we're currently sat in my playroom, and I thought this was a really lovely, very natural kind of background that would hopefully inspire the children to use their imaginations. And I've put the little tree house here that we have with little wooden people. So I've put that in the corner, and yeah, hopefully it will inspire some lovely naturey woodland play. Anyway, it's a nice background. I liked it for doing my video. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will chat again soon.